Hey everybody, we are in Milan. I call it Milan, but it's called Milan, Tennessee. And we are going to do something a little bit new today. We're going to start doing some speed testing on our different Wi-Fi modems whenever we travel around. So those of you that have watched us before, Brad at Pawz Effect, and we travel around. Um, we, we basically travel around in our RV with our dogs, and we do things like motorcycle riding. We check out RV parks, do reviews and such like that. So we're going to start doing some speed testing since I use 3 different providers now for our services, for my work, for our YouTubing, and for just our general stuff around the RV, streaming, TV, and so on and so forth. So we actually have 3 different mobile hotspots here. We have Netgear. This is the Nighthawk, and this is through AT&T, but it's through a reseller called OTR Mobile. So this is a OTR Mobile Nighthawk, and it's AT&T service. This is the one that we had first. It's unlimited service, and it has served us pretty well being on AT&T. That's the one I use primarily for work. Then we've got this Verizon hotspot, which is it's a backup. It's the Wi-Fi Jetpack. And this one is unlimited, but it throttles down after about 20 gigs of service, and it's my backup. So when I don't have good signal on my AT&T from OTR Mobile, I'll use this Verizon one that's directly from Verizon. Now, thirdly, we just got this one when we went full-time, completely full-time, and we're actually going to be getting TV service over like streaming. So we're going to be using quite a bit more gigs. And so one of the things about these OTR plans. This is OTR AT&T. This is actually OTR T-Mobile. 2 different devices, 2 different providers, AT&T, T-Mobile. But the issue with the OTR Mobile is there's a fair use plan, and that fair use plan just says don't overuse. So if you're streaming to 15 devices and you're using 300, 400 megs or gigs, 300, 400 gigs a month, you might get throttled a bit. So we're trying to avoid that throttling. And they all cost about $80 a month. So you're looking at $240 a month for those 3 together. And I may end up eventually getting rid of the Verizon if this T-Mobile one works out. But I'm suspect against T-Mobile because of some bad experiences I had with T-Mobile in the past. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a speed test now. I'm going to pull up share a site with you called Speakeasy, where we do some you can do some testing on this Speakeasy speed test site. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to do the AT&T. And now I've actually got a couple devices connected to this, but there's not much going on right now, so it still should test fairly accurately. So let's go ahead and run a test against my AT&T network. You see there, it's pretty good speeds. So I use this for sharing video demonstrations during the week when I'm doing my natural job. And so I'm able to do conference calls and things like that. Hello, Charlie Grace. We're just doing a little bit of a speed test on the different carriers. We've got 3 different carriers with us that we travel around with now, and we're going to start testing them out, sharing that information with people, because it's very important when you work, as most of us do, on the road to have good internet. So right now we're testing out OTR modem, OTR mobile, and this is the Netgear Nighthawk, and it is using the AT&T service. Now, sadly, you probably or most likely cannot get this service on OTR Mobile. We were on OTR Mobile over a year ago, and when they started, they were an AT&T provider. They've switched primarily to being a T-Mobile, but if you were on the plan before, they grandfathered you in and let you keep that plan. So we're going to see how this works here on StreamYard. We're going to switch to a different internet. And so I might disappear for a second, and we'll come back and run our second speed test on OTR Mobile T-Mobile in 1 second. I need my password. Switch internet. Okay, we are back. So a little bit of difficulty there switching. I didn't know how StreamYard would handle that. Let me share my screen again and we will rerun our test. All right, so you can see the results from the AT&T tests, and now we're actually going to run using this. This is actually a ZTE router. It actually is sold by AT&T, but the network we're using is T-Mobile through OTR Mobile. So we're going to go ahead and run that speed test for it now. And let's see how T-Mobile compares to AT&T from Milan, Tennessee. Milan, Tennessee. And Milan's not very remote, so I expect all of these to test out fairly well. How you doing, Sue? Good to see you. We have not been on as many YouTube lives lately because of the pace of life and also visiting with family quite a bit. I've been trying to catch up on some videos as well, and I decided to go ahead and start doing this speed test video to let people know how the different networks work, the different providers work along the way. So my grandson Jack is hanging out with me. We are actually in his driveway up his new house in Milan, Tennessee, playing on a tablet. All right, so that's T-Mobile that you see on the screen, just a little bit slower than the Verizon network. So if you're in Milan, Tennessee, T-Mobile, AT&T, and most likely Verizon is going to be a good choice. So let's go ahead and I'm going to switch one more time here. So you may lose me again as I switch to my Verizon network. I don't see it there. Let me make sure it's on. I'm gonna have to turn this modem off, turn it back on. How's everybody doing? Roy and Becky, how you guys doing? So hopefully everybody's having a great weekend this weekend. We spent the last 2 weeks since the last live when we sold the house in Murray, Kentucky area. We've looked at some properties. We only found one that was a possible match, and it actually has a contingent contract on it. So we might stay tracking that one to see how the contingency turns out. All right, I'm going to go and switch networks again. So I will be got to enter the password first here. See if we can find it. Hey Brian, how you doing? We're just doing some speed testing here on different networks. So we've done AT&T and T-Mobile first. Hey, Roy and Becky, Bob is a great guy. Oh, you know Bob. He is. That's our first time there. So fantastic guy. If you haven't watched our latest video, this guy, Bob Eversgard, he's from Germantown, Illinois, and he has spent about the last 36 years building out his property and creating a Civil War fort. And a lot of old cabins are on there, and I think they're shooting a Civil War documentary from there pretty soon if they haven't already done that. But he basically gives tours of his home, of his property, of this museum, if you will, and it's really cool. So we spent about 2 hours there. I think the video we did was probably about 20 minutes of footage, 20 or 30 minutes of footage. So check that one out. It's really Bob's a great guy, and he's got all kinds of artifacts there. You wouldn't believe it. And what we showed was just a small part of everything that's there. All right, let me get this password in for my Verizon network. All right, we'll try this again. So I may disappear for a moment, and then we'll come back and test Verizon. All right, I am back. I'm on the Verizon network now. We're going to do a speed test on Verizon. Let me share my screen once again. All right, so this test is going to be on the Verizon MiFi Jetpack on the Verizon network. No reseller here. This is straight through Verizon. I got some comments here. Let's see here. I think that movie is going to be called Measure of Devotion. We may be in it eventually. They are filming it in that area. That's awesome. We will keep an eye on that. I would love to see that when it's finished. So it's a great thing when these historians give us a glimpse of what happened from a time that none of us really can know anything about or see really real life. This is the closest thing we have to seeing them real life. So let's go ahead and do our Verizon test here to wrap this up. So typically Verizon and AT&T will be your best networks just about everywhere you go. You can see here Verizon is kicking butt on this one, so twice as fast as AT&T or T-Mobile, over twice as fast, almost 3 times as fast. About the same, a little bit better uptick as well, upload as well. So Verizon's the best, but trying to find an unlimited, truly unlimited, non-throttle Verizon plan is very hard these days. So there's not even very many resellers that have that. If you find them, you'll go in there and they'll say it's sold out. So I think Verizon is really cracking down on some of those resellers right now. You can still get AT&T plans through some resellers, just not OTR Mobile. And you can get T-Mobile and Sprint all over the place through resellers as well. That's fully unlimited, non-throttled, but there is that fair use language they put in there. So you got to make sure you're not overusing the service. So there we go. We got 3 speed tests: AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon from Milan, Tennessee. And that kind of wraps up for what I was going to do on this session, but I would love to get your feedback. If this is something that's going to be helpful to people as we travel around to RV parks, state parks, destinations, I'm just going to take a few minutes to go live, do the videos, and then promote them as a speed test for that area. So let me know your feedback if you think that was something to help you out if you're traveling around. I know to us, it's very important that we have internet connectivity and cell phone service whenever I'm traveling. Sorry, I got distracted with something outside there. That's the beauty of sitting in our RVs, and the beauty around us is there's wildlife and neighbors' cats and things like that, depending on where you're at, that can get your attention. Visible. Yeah, I saw Visible, and actually I went to Visible and they said they were sold out on Verizon service. So I was trying to get Verizon when I got T-Mobile because I wanted to get truly unlimited Verizon, but that's not available at this point, at least when I checked. So if you actually have a link, Roy and Becky, if you can send that to me, my email is contact@pawzeffect.com. That would be great. So Visible is truly unlimited on Verizon, and it does better than the Verizon service. Well, that's a little surprising because they both should be the same networks, but it could depend on the modem that you have as well. So those of you that don't know, I've been in telecom for my first 20 years of my career. I was in telecom, actually 25 years. So right now I'm with a software company that's not telecom specific, but it's really the first company that I have worked for that's not telecom. So I helped build a lot of the now Verizon network. It was MCI when I was there. Verizon bought MCI a long time ago, actually about 8 years ago, I think, 10 years ago. All right, guys, that's it for today. We'll do another test when we move, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll be back in Kentucky area or back in southern Missouri. So we'll see you guys then, or I'll catch you on another live. Thank you. Say bye, Jack.
Bye.